When I was a young lady, I wanted to be like a Victorian woman. I felt like our modern ways were just so evil and so against the way that God intended for men and women to be, that my dream in my 20s was to just lose myself into the past. I didn't like the 20th century. I wanted to be a 19th century woman. And my role models were 19th century women like Hudson Taylor's wife, Maria Taylor. And I read Charles Dickens' novel, David Copperfield, and I just thought, I want to be just like Agnes Wickfield. But I read the book before I saw any of the movies. And from the book, I really love the way Charles Dickens ended the book, with Agnes and David getting together. And see, it was all about Dave, the main character, David's growth as a man. And he had to learn, I guess, it's sort of like discipline or self control and how to discipline his heart. And when he was growing up, he grew up with uh, a girl named Agnes Wickfield. He grew up in her household, went to school uh, with her, and he loved her all along. But he became madly infatuated with a woman named Dora Spenlow, who was feminine and childish and cute and beautiful, but she lacked maturity and the maturity and depth of Agnes. Agnes was she had a lot of character. She was very unselfish. She gave herself totally to others, and she was my role model. I had nothing against Dora. In fact, I think our modern day women are kind of missing out because nowadays a woman like Dora would be totally despised. She was like cute and flirty and, like it's hard to, I'm not going to go there right now. But the thing is, so I read David Copperfield when I was young, and I actually did a performance of Agnes in front of my Ardell Jaquot, who was our speech uh, professor at Baptist University of America when I went to school there. That's like a Bible college. And I graduated from Florida State University, but I pretty much kept myself locked up in my dorm and I studied all the time and I despised all the beer parties. And that might be why I graduated with honors with a degree in health education and I lost myself in my church. And I deliberately picked an old fashioned church where they actually felt it was, at that time, they felt it was a sin for a woman to wear pants. And that was just perfectly fine with me because I wanted to be this Victorian woman. And I don't think women wore pants uh, in the 19th century. So I hated the modern world. I wanted to go back and be a Victorian woman. And I wanted to find like a group that thought like I did. So I lost myself in the fundamental independent Baptists. And back in the 1980s, they were very old fashioned, which might explain partly why I became a King James Bible only person. And, I got out of that. Jesus got me out of it. But anyways, to make a long story short, you know, I was going through the internet the other day and saying, I want to find someone that I think is a truly beautiful woman. And I couldn't really find a modern woman that I thought was truly beautiful. I believe truly beautiful women do exist, but I don't think they become celebrities. I think a lot of them are Christian women who are loyal to their husbands and they stay home and take care of their kids and they're a keeper at home and they have inner and outward beauty. But those women are usually not attracted to Hollywood. So you don't, and a lot of them don't even like social media. And so basically, I'm making this video to plug for truly beautiful women to and to let you know that I know you're out there. In fact, I think a lot of my fellow Baptist University of America students are in that category. But so I read David Copperfield, but very sadly, I found that I couldn't find any productions that were true to the novel. And I finally found one. I had to special order it. It's this right here. It's a BBC production starring David Yelland, Arthur Lowe. Gail Harrison plays Agnes and does a good job. But you can't, I've never seen it here on television. So you have to special order it. I'll have a link underneath Amazon where you can order this. It's really expensive. And what I did was I got a cheaper version and um, I copied it onto my computer so that I could watch it on television. So anyways, that's a really good version. So to make a long story short, you know, probably the closest thing to a beautiful woman that I've seen would be Audrey Hepburn, because she had inward and outward beauty, and it showed. She was constantly giving of herself to charities and everything. So she was a beautiful woman, inwardly and outwardly. Grace Kelly, I think, might qualify too. She, when she decided to leave her Hollywood career, she devoted herself totally to her husband, which I think is a very admirable thing for a woman to do. And I just think so much of that is lost. You might say, and it's one thing that I really despise about a lot of Jesuit women is that a woman should complete her husband. And when I was a young lady, I dreamed about marrying a masculine man. And the reason I wanted a masculine man is because I felt like that's closest to Jesus, who is what you would call your ideal man. If there's ever a perfect man in the world, it would be Jesus. Of course, Jesus doesn't want women to think of him sexually, but what I mean is the more your husband is like Christ, the better a husband and man that they are. There is no higher compliment that you could give a man than to say that he's Christ-like. And there's no higher compliment you can give a woman than to say that she's Christ-like. However, the difference between a man being Christ-like and a woman being Christ-like is that God did make men and women to be different. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So right now, I think the Lord Jesus sees me as a good role model for women. And I just want you to know that growing up, I was the total opposite of a woman's liver. I got a bachelor's degree, but my goal was to let my husband take care of me and to devote my life to being a keeper at home, to being a good mother, a good wife, but mostly a good wife. And I want to really emphasize that because today it's like everything is so satanic. Jesus wants women to put their husbands first. That's the biblical mandate for a woman. And it's an honor. It's an honor. That's, when I was my mother didn't teach me this, by the way. My mother's a woman's liber, but I totally rebelled against her. And I think I was godly in that respect, but I wanted to be just like Agnes Wickfield. And you can see the clips of her. She was my role model. I actually read parts of her from David Copperfield during my speech. I got an A from a professor who didn't give out A's. He said, wow, it was like Agnes was right up there on the stage when you read her lines, Gail. And he doesn't give out compliments easily, so I must have done well. And that's because I had been reading David Copperfield since like 1976. I did the performance about 1982. And you actually become like those you admire. And I admired her and the way she was so unselfish. In the novel, she loved David her whole life. But even when he fell in love with another woman, she just forgot about herself and just only concentrated on making David happy. And she kept her love to herself so that she wouldn't ruin his marriage to Dora. And I thought, wow, what a Christ-like woman. And I still admire her. And I think Agnes Wickfield is a good role model for even a 21st century woman to have. So if you want to go ahead and watch the production, the BBC, if you can get it. You have to special order it. They never air it over here. It goes totally against the women's lib movement. And Agnes is kind of looked down upon by the new millennial generation, but she shouldn't be. She was, to me, the perfect woman. And I have masculine traits, but I have womanly traits too, and I would never ever be ashamed of them. And if you're a woman and you're womanly and you want to put your husband first, you should be proud to be that way. Not ashamed, but proud.
Trotwood, my dear.
Agnes.
Oh, I'm so rejoiced to see you.
And I to see you. So very happy. Thank you for all your letters.
Oh, they weren't very interesting, I'm afraid. We lead such a quiet life here in Canterbury. Come along. Come and sit down. You must tell me all about your travels. Where you've been, what you've seen, which places you like best.
Later, Agnes.
Father and I often talked about you, wondering where you were and what you were doing.
Tell me about yourself first.
Dear me, what should I tell?
Everything.
Well, Papa is better, now that our anxieties are set at rest and our home restored to us. And knowing that, dear Trotwood, you know all.
All, Agnes.
What else should there be? What else? Oh, the school, of course. It's hard work, but I enjoy it very much.
You say you thought of me. Well, I thought of you, Agnes. Scarcely a day went by when I didn't think of this house, this room. Now I'm here, it's as if I'd never been away. Nothing's changed. Even the old flowers are still here, or the old kinds.
I like keeping it as it used to be, when we were children. We were happy then, I think.
Yes, we were. Very happy. Oh, well, can't it wait until tomorrow? No. Tomorrow might be too late.
Trot, I thought you were staying in London.
I've been to see Travels. He's married now and very happy. Happy in a way I never realized possible. Agnes, when I was away, I realized how much I owe to you.
Oh, that's nonsense, Trot.
No, what I am, you made me.
I made you?
You're so much a part of my life and my thoughts that I can't imagine existing without you. I've always told you my problems, my secrets. You've always helped me. Now, please let me help you.
Help me? How?
You have a secret, I think. Please let me share it. Please, Agnes. Don't shut me out of what concerns your happiness. If you're in love, then tell me. Trust me.
Oh, Trot, please go away. Leave me. Please leave me.
I can't. I won't.
You must, please.
I love you, Agnes. I went away loving you. I stayed away loving you. I returned home loving you. In my heart, I think I've always loved you. Nothing to say.
Trot, I've loved you all my life. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, too wonderful. Oh, my dear Agnes. My dear boy.
What is it, Miss Trotwood? Are you ill?
Trot and Agnes. Oh,
Please, Miss Trotwood, sit down. Now, please sit down.
silly old creature, haven't you heard?
Dear me, what's come over her?
They're going to be married.
What? Oh, Trot. Oh, my dear. I'm so delighted.
Dearest Trot, there's something I must tell you.
What is it?
That night, when Dora died, she sent for me. Do you remember?
Of course.
She had one last request. Can you guess what it was?
Tell me.
You and I. She wanted me to take her place.